Hello and welcome to my channel. In case you're new, my name is Vinita Melvin and this is my channel. So on today's episode, Health Convo, we're going to discuss the importance and benefits of child immunization. Well, I'm not alone. I have my guest who will help me shed light on the topic. So stay tuned as we dive into the topic, immunization, and how it benefits your child. So guys, before we dive into our topic of today, allow me introduce my guests before we proceed with everything else. Karibu sana. Maybe you start by introducing yourself and then we move on to the topic of the day.
My name is Anthony Hongukuria, a clinician at Rokibia Health Center.
So today we are discussing, or we are talking about immunization, the importance of immunization and the benefits. I'd like you to start by maybe shedding light on what immunization is.
Immunization is the prevention of communicable, preventable diseases and prevention of death and loss of life in young children and adults as well. Yes.
Why is it important for a child to be immunized?
Well, that's a very good question. Immunization in children is very critical because in children, the immunity is usually very low. Now, when a child is immunized at a young age, it prevents permanent damage, loss of life, and also preventing a lot of illness as well.
When we talk about immunization, we have had vaccination also coming in. Maybe you might also shed light to us. You tell us what is the difference between vaccination and immunization, because I know they go hand in hand.
Yeah, vaccination is as well as immunization. There is no difference. Because even according to KP is the Kenyan, it's usually called the routine immunization schedule in children. Yeah. Now, the vaccines are the ones that are used to in the vaccination program from childbirth up to 1.5 months. It's usually at birth. You find that a child is immunized at birth. Usually the child is given polio 0, we call it OPV 0 and BCG. And then at 6 weeks, the child is given the OPV for polio, PCV, it's a pneumococcal vaccine, and then there's the pentavalent. Pentavalent is a composition of the tetanus, pertussis. It is a penta. It's a combination of 5 immunization. The child is given OPV1, pentavalent 1, the PCV for pneumococcal 1, and rotavirus 1. And then at 10 weeks, the child is given as well. You see, now it's advancing. We started with OPV 0 at birth, and then at 6 weeks, and then now we're at 10 weeks. The child is given OPV 2, and then pentavalent 2, PCV 2, and then rota 2. And then from there, at 14 weeks, now we're still advancing. We've come from 10 weeks, now we're at 14 weeks. It's a span of a month, 4 weeks, 4 weeks. We started at 0, 6 weeks, 10 weeks, now we're at 14. 14, the child is given OPV 3, and then Penta 3, PCV 10, 3, and then and then the Rota as well, 3. Now because they added another third one. We earlier on we used to give Rota 1 and 2. Now it was added Rota 3, and then to add to the polio vaccination. Now there is the deactivated polio vaccination that it's given on the 14th week. Yeah. Now the child is usually immunized. The right side, we find that there are 3 vaccinations on the legs, on the thighs, outer sides of the thighs, and then 2 oral, that is the rota and the polio. And then from the 14th week, now the child is usually advised to appear at the MCH as well as the mother for continuous assessment of the weight gain. If the child is gaining weight, how is the child breastfeeding, and how is the child faring on. And then now, from the 14th week, the next immunization the child gets is at 6 weeks. The child is given vitamin A, that is 100 international units. It's a bit different than the other one for 1 year. It is usually blue in color. It's a capsule that has a liquid, oily liquid. Yeah? And then from there up to, and then if the child is immunocompromised, the child has maybe has HIV, or that's what we usually call immunocompromised. The child is immunized for measles vaccine. He gets the measles vaccine at 6 months. 6 months. And then at 9 months, the child is usually given the measles vaccine, that we usually call it measles rubella 1, at 9 months. From there, 1 year as well, the child is given the vitamin A and dewormed as well as the normal weight monitoring, height monitoring. The MOAC usually assesses the nutritional status of the child. From there, we usually give another booster vaccination for measles. We usually call it measles rubella 2 at 1.5 months, and deworm and vitamin A. Yeah, that is the standard immunization schedule as per KIP.
So you've mentioned about that routine. I'd like to know what is the benefit of one getting immunized, of a child getting immunized. What are some of the benefits?
Yeah, the benefits of a child getting immunized is one, that you've prevented all the preventable diseases according to the immunization that the child got. Like polio, there's usually permanent, we call it permanent, sorry, the name is disappearing. There's permanent deformity. Yeah, and then like the pertussis. The pertussis, you find it's a respiratory tract infection. Yeah, and then we find that like the PCV, it's a pneumococcal vaccine which prevents from the pneumonia, and then or the respiratory tract infections. And then for the BCG, you find you've prevented your child from getting the tuberculosis. And then the measles, even if the child acquires the measles, the measles virus won't affect the child. It's preventing in advance. That is the advantage of vaccination. It's preventing in advance. Yes.
Having said that, when is the child said to be fully immunized?
Fully immunization, it's when it's at 9 months. Yeah, when the child gets the measles rubella. But we don't usually nowadays say that the child is fully immunized at 9 months. What we usually advise is that the child is fully immunized at 1 year, 6 months. So that if you tell a child or a mother your child is fully immunized at 9 months, the possibility of the mother bringing back the child for cleaning, for the vaccinations, the deworming, the booster, measles rubella 2 is very rare. Yeah, they will just disappear.
Yeah, and on to my next questions now. What are the effects of a child not getting that immunization?
The effects are usually like just when, if like a child is not immunized, but the benefits are just the same. The child is well prevented from the communicable diseases and the preventable diseases. Yes.
As we finalize, what would be your advice to a parent who is watching us, especially those ones who have a tendency of ignoring immunization or getting their child to immunization simply because of the reasons that are best known to them? What should be your advice? Because this week we are celebrating Immunization Awareness Week.
Yes. Now, for one thing that I know is immunization is one of the best ways to protect your child in all manners of ways. First, you'll have a healthy child. Secondly, the incidences of taking a child to the hospital will be reduced as well. And then the third thing is, if you're not able, the advice that I can be able to tell any mother who is watching us is that if you're unable to go to any private facility, in all the government facilities, immunization is free of charge. And for those that maybe because of religious reasons, it's a bit tricky because you can't force. There's one thing that you can't force. Because there's some people undergo some cultural differences, religion reasons. We can't force. But the advice is immunize your child, and it's free of charge. Don't forget, I also can be able to advise all mothers who have young adolescents, children. Before I forget, there is a vaccination of the HPV virus. It helps.
Maybe for someone who doesn't know what HPV means.
HPV is a human papilloma virus vaccine. It prevents. It's a vaccine that is being advocated by the government for children, or let me say adolescents, from 10 young girls from 10 years to 14 years, and it's a 1-year vaccination program because it's injected after twice in a year. This human HPV 1 and the one that in a difference of 6 months.
Thank you so much. But I guess we're saying mothers, we could also mention the fathers also, because we have those that raising their daughter single-handedly without the mother. Because at most time they feel like they're being forgotten.
Because if for fathers,
let's say maybe for this issue of immunization, is it a responsibility for the mother alone or both parents?
Now, it's a responsibility for both parents, because if, for instance, the father is available, can be able to take the young lady to the facility for the immunization. It's just a simple process. It's the age of 10 to 14 years. It's non-painful. It doesn't have any side effect, and then you'll have prevented your child from cervical cancer.
Thank you so much, guys. You've heard from our clinician today. Remember, a healthy or a vaccinated community is a healthy community. That's it for today. Many thanks for watching this video. I hope you've learned 1 or 2 from this video. If you did, drop a comment and let us know what have you learned. Until the next one, goodbye.